Next, let's talk about the new Doxa Sub 200 diver watches with unique stainless steel brushed bezels. Doxa is a legendary watch brand. They are known for their diver watches, and one of their most popular lines of watches is Sub 200. These watches are known to have colorful dials as well as colorful bezels. Now for 2025, we got essentially a new collection within the Sub 200 lineup with brushed bezels. These watches, however, are still available with a variety of different dial options. The cases remained about the same, 42mm diameter by about 13.8mm in case height. These ones feature 46mm lock-to-lock distance. They're sort of cushion style cases and fit majority of the wrists just fine. They feature 200 meters of water resistance, and they're still powered by the same movement, Sellita SW200, which beats at 4 Hz, and it comes with 38 hours of power reserve. There's a total of 8 different dial options. My favorite is probably the classic orange dial. I think that looks really good, although I still prefer the OG models without this brushed bezel look. It's good to have more variety, more options, but my preference is still for the previous release. Luckily, those watches are still available. They're not discontinued. You simply have more options. Now, in terms of the pricing and availability, this will be part of the standard collection, and they're priced at €1,100 for the one on the rubber strap, €1,150 for the one on the stainless steel bracelet. I recommend you go for that option. It's only €50 extra, and you get a Beats of Rice bracelet, which looks excellent on these models. If you want the one on the NATO strap, it is cheaper, €970. Next, let's talk about the updated Hamilton Khaki Navy Frogman, the Black PVD edition. A version of this watch was released in 2022, and now in 2025, we essentially got a slight update to this collection. This Frogman collection is supposed to be this sort of tougher version of the Khaki Diver. It is larger, it's a lot more imposing, and it's originally made for naval combat demolition units. In terms of the case dimensions, these are very large watches, 46mm diameter by about 13.6mm case height. They're made out of stainless steel with the black PVD coating, and they come with 300 meters of water resistance. There's also extra protections around the crown, as well as that bumper at the 9 o'clock position. These are supposed to be diver watches for professionals. And as far as the movement powering this watch, it's the automatic caliber H10, which is essentially a modified ETA 2824 or the Powermatic 80. It beats at 3 Hz, and it comes with 80 hours of power reserve. By default, the watch comes on the rubber strap and is priced at $1,345. There is one more Hamilton released this week. It's the new Khaki Navy Scuba Auto GMT in bronze and stainless steel cases. These two new models are actually really cool watches. They come in larger cases, 43mm diameter by about 14mm in case height. So they're a bit on the thicker side, but on the positive, they do feature 300 meters of water resistance. And as I said, you do have a choice between bronze or stainless steel cases. The stainless steel watch comes with the stainless steel bracelet. The bronze watch comes on the NATO strap. Both of them are powered by the same movement, is the caliber H14, which is essentially a modified Powermatic 80 that beats at 3 Hz, and it comes with 80 hours of power reserve. However, this modification of the Powermatic 80 is the true GMT. It's not an office GMT, which I know a lot of people will appreciate. Between the two versions, I actually prefer the bronze version. Usually I prefer stainless steel watches, but I think this watch in bronze looks fairly excellent. I also really like how they cleaned up the dial on this Khaki model. Usually there is that 24-hour scale on the inner chapter ring, which kind of throws off the symmetry and makes the dial look a little bit too busy. Right now, with the cleaner dial, this is a very attractive watch. And in terms of the pricing, I only have the prices in euros. So for the stainless steel version, it's €1,445, and for the one in the bronze case, it's €1,595. There is a slight premium for the bronze case. The new Tudor Pelagos FDX Chrono Pink Giro d'Italia Cycling Edition. This is actually the second year that we're getting a special edition of the Pelagos FDX Chrono, specifically for their cycling team. And this year, I actually think that the watch is more attractive than it was last year. So this is a very limited edition, only 300 pieces, pretty much an impossible watch to buy. Probably the team and a few family and friends will be able to buy these watches, which is a bit of a shame because these are actually really cool watches. They come in very reasonable dimensions, 43mm diameter by only 13.2mm in case height. So these are actually thinner than the Black Bay version of Chronos, like a millimeter thinner, quite a bit. And that's pretty impressive because these ones are still powered by the same movement, the automatic caliber MT5813, which is based on the Breitling B01 movement. It beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 70 hours of power reserve. And just like last year's version, this one is also made out of black carbon, and it features those solid end links, so you can only wear this watch on select few straps. And in terms of the pricing, this one is 5,550 euro, but I'm sure on the resale market, if you're even able to find one, is gonna go for a pretty high premium. And surprisingly, there's another Tudor released this week. It's also a chronograph and it's also a collaboration with a sports team. This one is the new Tudor Black Bay Chrono Carbon 25 in collaboration with Visa Cash App Formula One team, or the Racing Bulls as they're known now. It's kind of confusing. What is even this team called? So this watch was released last Sunday for the Miami Grand Prix. It's a bit surprising because on one hand, this release makes a lot of sense and it's a very attractive looking watch. It has that Visa Cash App Racing Bulls motif with this color scheme and that black case. On the other hand, if you are a Formula One fan, you probably noticed that last week this team had a special livery for Miami. A lot of teams did. And that livery was actually very attractive. So a bit of a misguided marketing scheme there. This release would make more sense on other weekends where they are rocking the same livery as this watch is, but hey, it's just a small detail that I noticed. In terms of the case dimensions, this watch is very similar to the stainless steel versions, 42mm diameter by about 14.3mm in case height. I think the stainless steel version is like 14.4mm in case height. So there's a slight 0.1mm difference between the two versions. However, this one is made out of carbon fiber and it still features 200 meters of water resistance. It is powered by the same movement, the caliber MT5813 that I just talked about. It beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 70 hours of power reserve. This limited edition is larger than the cycling limited edition. This one is going to be 2,025 pieces and the watch is priced at $7,575 US. So this one is more expensive. Out of the two versions released, the cycling one or this F1 themed one, I prefer the cycling one. I think that looks really good and I also prefer the dimensions on that watch. I think this one is going to be hard to get but still easier because the limited edition is much larger. And next, let's talk about the new generation of Seiko 5 Sports SKX line of watches. Seiko SKX is a legendary diver watch. In fact, that's the watch I'm wearing on my wrist right now. It's one of my first sort of serious watches, and it's the same story for a lot of other watch collectors. A lot of people started their watch collection journey with SKX. Around 2018-2019, Seiko decided to discontinue this line of watches, and in 2019 we got the new Seiko 5 Sports collection, nicknamed the 5KX. However, later on, Seiko actually did name this collection the new SKX. Well, now for 2025, we have sort of the evolution of this collection and the next generation of Seiko SKX models. There is a total of 4 different references with 4 different dial and bezel options, and they did get some things correctly, others not so much. First, let's talk about the things they got correctly. I like the color variations here. I like the orange as well as the yellow ones. If you want something a little bit more conservative, of course, you have the blue or black dial versions. These watches also kept the same dimensions that a lot of people love, the 42.5mm diameter by about 13.9mm case height and the 46mm lug-to-lug distance. That number is very important because that's what makes this watch fit majority of the wrists so comfortably, is that lug-to-lug distance. However, where I think they took a misstep is with the crown. The crown is not a screw-down crown, so the watch only comes with 100 meters of water resistance. One of the things that a lot of collectors appreciate about the SKX, the fact that it's an actual true diver watch with the ISO certification to go along with that claim. These new 5KX models don't have even 200 meters of water resistance, let alone the ISO certification. And even though 100 meters of water resistance is plenty for most people, I still think that that kind of misses the point of this watch. The other part of this watch that is a miss, having that hardlex crystal. Having hardlex crystal is just pure money savings at this point. However, there are a few other positives. I like the fact that they still kept the day-date complication at the 3 o'clock position. Also, the updated bracelet looks pretty good. And lastly, the overall sort of shape and design remains the same, even with this updated bezel design. The bezel almost looks like it's a sapphire bezel. It's not. It just has this sort of new modern look. In terms of the pricing and availability, this watch will be available in June 2025. This will be a permanent collection. It's not a limited edition. And these watches are 400 euro on the silicone rubber strap or 440 euro on the stainless steel bracelet. Next, let's talk about the new Fairer Lissom collection. Fairer is a British watch brand that I've been a fan of from a distance for a while. I actually got a chance to check them out at the Vancouver Timepieces show the other day. And this new collection of 5 watches is their version of an everyday dress watch. So these watches are about 38 millimeters in diameter by about 8 millimeters in case height with a 43 millimeter lug-to-lug distance. They come in brushed and polished stainless steel cases with about 50 meters of water resistance. I wish they bumped up the water resistance to about 100 meters, so that would make this watch kind of perfect, go anywhere, do anything type of a timepiece. In terms of the movement, this one is powered by the Lejeune Pareil caliber D100, which beats at 4 Hz, and it comes with 50 hours of power reserve. In terms of the available color combinations, I kind of like this sort of pink raspberry one. I think that looks really good. And the interesting story behind these watches is that each version is named after a different famous British botanist, which is kind of a unique idea. I've never heard of a special collection dedicated to different botanists, but hey, it kind of makes sense, especially with these sort of bright out-of-the-box dials. And in terms of pricing and availability, these watches will be about 1,350 euro or about 1,295 US dollars. Next, let's talk about the new Ulysse Nardin Diver Hammerhead Shark Limited Edition. Ulysse Nardin is known for their diver watches. However, I think they really missed the mark with this watch. So first, let's talk about the basics. This watch comes in a titanium case, 44 millimeter diameter by about 14.8 millimeters case height and 300 meters water resistance. I don't understand why this watch has to be so thick. 300 meters of water resistance is not that much, but the watch is almost 15 millimeters in case height. On top of that, if you look at the case back seems to be held together with screws instead of it being a screw-down case back. Why? Kind of a strange choice. Usually on a professional diver watch, you are looking for a watch with a screw-down case back. Lastly, this watch comes with a sub-seconds hand at the 6 o'clock position, which again doesn't make too much sense on a diver, and it doesn't make too much sense on a diver that's almost 15 millimeters in case height. Usually watches with the sub-seconds hands are thinner because there's less hands to stack one on top of another, so that's the advantage of these type of watches or of this type of design. I'm not really sure what the hell they're doing at their Ulysse Nardin HQ. The movement powering this watch is pretty cool. Is the caliber UN-118. It's an in-house automatic movement that beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 60 hours of power reserve. Only 300 pieces of this watch will be made and it's priced at 12,300 euro or 12,100 US dollars. And lastly, let's talk about the new Titoni C-Scope 300 Ice Blue DLC. Titoni is a bit of an underrated brand, and this watch here just proves it. So the C-Scope is their famous line of diver watches. However, this watch here is a partnership between them and a famous mountain climber. This one is about 42 millimeters in diameter by about 12.5 millimeters in case height. It comes with 300 meters of water resistance. So here's the perfect example of what I was talking about. So you see, Ulysse Nardin, you don't need to make watches like 15 millimeters thick for the same water resistance rating. The case is made out of stainless steel and it features that matte black DLC coating. In terms of the movement powering this one is the Sellita SW200, which beats at 4 Hz and it comes with 42 hours of power reserve. And the standout features of this watch is number one, that dial. It has this sort of Tiffany blue, this ice blue dial, which looks pretty sharp, especially in contrast with that matte black case. And number two, there is that special case back about the world record that was broken by this man right here, and that was in partnership with Titoni. So this watch will be a limited edition to only 200 pieces and it's priced at 1,800 euro or 1,950 US dollars. And that's it for this week's watch releases. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos like this in the future, and leave your comment in the comment section below. Let me know what watch releases stood out to you. I read every single one of your comments. Thanks for watching this one all the way until the end, and we'll see you next time.